Um, since that time, uh, when I hit sixth grade, I actually joined up with CEF, the same people who put on that 5-day club, that VBS that I got saved at. I was actually able to serve as a summer missionary, if you will, doing those VBSs all over Western PA. And of course, I had to do the missionary story. I think I had a pretty good one. I really got into it. And basically, I love doing it because, I saw myself in all those kids. Like, if, I could just convey that, the faith that these missionaries had, that, it's not just some Bible story that happened, 100, million years ago or whatever. But, those acts of faith in the Bible happen, today. It's not just something isolated in a story that you only hear on Sunday, but, these kind of people still exist today, the people that are after God's heart. And so that's basically been the driving force in my life since sixth grade is, that kind of missions aspect, that evangelism aspect of just reaching as many people as I could. I was able to do those summer missionary work for 6 years, all the way through, until I graduated high school. Every summer I pretty much did that. I did missions trips as well, but every summer consistently doing those 5-day clubs over Western Pennsylvania. It was probably beginning of high school, though, that my view on missions changed. Or maybe not so much my view, but my passion probably was dulled a little bit. I mean, I've said I'd done missions trips. I had done them in middle school. I had done them in high school. And over the years, I guess, basically my view of missions pretty much turned into you do a service project, and if there are kids around, you do a VBS too. But not necessarily both. And I basically came to the conclusion, well, if that's all missions really is, well, you know what? I can do this and get a good paying job, make money, and then, just let the boss know as soon as he hires me, hey, I'm going to need 3 weeks off every summer so, I can do volunteer work for my church, so we do missions trips. Pretty much carried that all the way through high school, even when I was applying to colleges, applied to business schools, applied to Pitt, the understanding that, that's what I wanted to do, go into business and do missions on the side, basically. Well, all that pretty much stayed the same until 2003 when I graduated high school. I'd already been accepted to Pitt. I knew where I was going in the fall. Never really got anxious about that, Well, that summer, our youth group at ACAC decided to offer a little bit of a different missions trip. But that year they had decided, I don't know, through some connections, that they were going to do a trip to Europe, specifically the Czech Republic. And of course I had that, senioritis type deal. Wow, Europe would be awesome before college. But I also knew that we would do missions. I wasn't going to just go and be like, oh, I'm in Europe. I would enjoy it, but, I still wanted to do missions. And, this was missions. And so on that trip, I was expecting, basically the same kind of things. You would do hard labor, and you would share the gospel with people, quick and dirty, just like that. Well, I was in for quite a surprise. I mean, we show up, we're doing English camps, Christian English camps, and there was just, this connection between us and the students. I mean, this was really the first time that, I had intentional, missional experience with my own peers, or, people my own age that I was reaching out before. Before, I'd only really shared the gospel with, close friends, people I knew how they were going to respond. But to go to, people my own age I'd never met before, not really knowing how they're going to respond or what questions they're going to ask, not being able to, truly prepare for every circumstance, was just eye-opening. I mean, I really think God had me go on that trip to just open my eyes to what missions can be and should be. is, going where it is necessary. I mean, you'll hear the stats that Czech Republic is probably the most atheistic country in the world. I mean, where else would they need missionaries but in Czech? And after that summer, I mean, I never saw missions the same. I mean, I really think that was when God really started placing the seeds in my life that, hey, this is what I wanted. Not what you had experienced before. That was just all, to, get your feet wet. This is really what missions is, this kind of experience, or, maybe this is really what I want you to do. Went back with our youth group again, but this time as a leader. Really just being able to kind of have, discipling role with not only the Czech students, but with the youth group students as well. The following 2 years, I felt like I kind of took it to the next step. And I went out for the entire summer as an intern, working with the organization who put on the English camps, Czech Adventure. Anyway, I went out for the entire summer, spent 3 months. Basically, pretty much a week after I'd get out of school, I'd be heading out to the Czech Republic and then getting back maybe a week or two before school started. So it was my entire summer, and I was glad to give it because this is where I felt God was calling me. And basically, these entire 2 summers, I was able to see behind the scenes of missions. And I think that's really where God really latched on to me, that, this is the life that's for me. Before, I only get to see, the roller coaster high of missions. Americans show up, everybody loves, new faces, Americans. It's, exotic, it's fun, we go crazy, but, what really happens after the Americans leave? Does anything happen? Does nothing, no evangelism happen until the Americans get back? Where I had the opportunity to see, just how the Czech students, the Christian Czech students, were able to use the momentum that the American students brought to continue to pursue their lost friends after they had gone. Camp was just kind of like the shot in the arm, or, the advertising for the Czech church. And so, that just introduced the lost students to the Czechs. They become friends, they get to know each other, and now it's not so weird when they ask them to church the next Sunday or the Sunday after that. That was really encouraging to see that, that was the English camp that I had done before was just the jump start to something much, much greater. And so by the second time through the internship, I felt God was pretty much solidly pulling me towards the Czech. And caused a lot of turmoil in my own life. I mean, coming home from my second internship, I really started to think about, what was I doing with my life? Is this what I'm going to do for the rest of my life? Really just go out every summer, spend the entire summer out there? What about school? By the end of 2006, I was about to start my junior year at Pitt with the intent of going into advertising. I was really good at it. I was creative. Could sell stuff. I was good at arguing. Ask anybody who hasn't heard me argue. But I had my doubts, God has really made me good for this. He's given me a passion for this, but, I'm at Pitt. I'm supposed to be going into business. So my entire junior year, I really struggled with, heck, what am I doing? I lost all my passion for business. I didn't really care about, making my millions. I just couldn't wait for the next summer to get back, or my next opportunity to, get back out into the Czech Republic.